Okay. Welcome to No Filter, episode 20. And I had the pleasure of meeting this wonderful lady about 2 years ago at Black Girls Rock. And she is super talented. And as a Brit, we are super proud of her. And as a woman of color, we are super proud of her. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cynthia Erivo. Cynthia!
Hi!
Hi, my darling.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
We're about to have a storm here, but I'm all right.
Where are you? Are you in New York?
I am. I'm back east.
Of course. Yeah.
Back east. Got some work here and then traveling again. I mean, I've definitely, it's anxious and nerve-wracking to travel.
Yeah, to travel, yeah. I feel that way when I'm traveling because I had to go to Philadelphia to do a concert. They had made it really lovely. It was like a socially distanced concert. It was just me in the theater, and everyone who was the black band who was playing, they were behind like perspex coverings. So I felt very safe, but it was very odd to be in a space without people. But getting there, it's slightly like your heart beats, and it's very like, okay, we're traveling, and there's people on this plane, and you want to try and stay as safe as you possibly can. Like, yeah, it's a very odd thing to travel.
It's like, it's just it's going to be a new way.
Yeah.
And
it's Twilight Zone.
And that's just, wow. And, I think they have to allow us that we can take extra baggage.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to take extra baggage with cleaning supplies, things to wear, and extra masks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully so tell me, Cynthia.
Yes.
Tell me first what's your full name.
So full name is what? Do you want my middle names as well?
Your full name, because it's so regal and royal.
Okay, so my full name in my passport is Cynthia Onyedimanazu Achimana Erivo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful name. Is that Nigerian descent, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What part of Nigeria are your family from?
Mbise, so we're like in the village outside. So it would be like Owerri State and out there. We speak Igbo.
Wow. I love Nigeria. I think you might know that.
I do.
I am missing Efero like you don't know.
Yeah.
I love Efero.
Good. If that food, like, what I do actually have someone who could probably make some things for you. I mean, obviously I can make some things, so I can probably bring, like, if you're back here in LA again, I'll get someone to do something for you.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Cynthia, I mean, you're a singer.
Yeah.
You're an all-round performer.
Yeah.
You've got a Tony.
Yes.
You've got a Grammy.
Yes.
You were up for an Oscar this year as our only person of color.
Yeah.
And the whole world is rooting for you.
Thank you.
As well as being Brit.
Yeah.
And, you had from the African continent, you had the whole globe. How does it, I researched you, and you've just seemed to be working constantly since you left college.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you started? What was the beginning for you?
Yeah, I feel like I started pretty late. I went to RADA, which is the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, when I was 20. After secondary school, I had done 2 years at university, and I felt like I was studying the wrong thing. It didn't feel like it was the right calling. So I bumped into someone who had done like a youth project when I was 15. And this is like 5 years later. I meet him when I'm 20 years old in the front of the Stratford Theatre Royal. And she says to me, "Are you training?" And I said, I didn't know what she meant. She said, "Are you going to drama school?" I said, "Well, no, I don't know what drama schools to go to." She said, "You should go to RADA." I said, what's RADA? She said, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. I said, no, that's not going to happen because I won't get in. And she said, you have to apply, otherwise you can't join this this class that I'm doing. So I was like, so I can't join the class if I don't apply? She said, yes. So I went up to the office and applied simply because she said I couldn't do the class if I didn't apply for this college. I applied for the college and I got in. It was the only place I applied for, which was like, I think it was like my defiance. I was like defying, like in my head, I knew I wasn't going to get in. So I was going to only apply once, and that was that. And then I ended up getting in. And then when I graduated, it's a 3-year program. So I graduated at 23. I went straight to a little play.
How many years were you there?
3 years. It's a 3 year program. So it's a BA in drama or acting. And I did this small play, which I absolutely loved, called Marine Parade. And it felt like from that moment onwards, there's always been something that leads me to the next, that leads me to the next. So you had like, it was the Marine Parade. Then I had like a small show that had music in it. And that small show with music led me to my first musical on the West End. And that West End show led me to Sister Act, which was the touring show. And then Sister Act led me to something else, which then led me to The Color Purple. And The Color Purple is essentially sort of where my big story begins, because I just knew in my heart of hearts that The Color Purple was the thing I was supposed to be doing. I just knew it. Like I knew that I was supposed to be doing it.
You knew you meant to be in it. You dreamt it. You saw it. You envisioned it.
In my whole heart, I just knew it. And luckily I was right. So I do this small play because it was in a small theatre that held only 200 people. In London. We do this show, and the artistic director and the producer asks if I would do this on Broadway, and I thought he was joking. So I was like, of course, if you have me. And then about a month or two later, they confirmed that they were going to Broadway and that my director didn't want to do it unless I was coming with him. So the journey to Broadway started.
Don't we love loyalty?
We do. It was so touching for him to want to include me in that process, because really and truly it changed my life. You know, without The Color Purple, I don't know that I would be here right now, or if I was to be here, it would be under very different circumstances, you know.
So it's fair to say, Cynthia Erivo, I mean, you know, when I went to drama school, and you always worry like, well, what when I leave this cocoon of a school, what if I don't get a job and I don't get my equity card and all that worry goes through your mind. But you didn't have that worry at all. You just kept bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I just knew that was what I was supposed to be doing. You know, I think there's something to be said for really, truly having an understanding and being sure about what I'm meant to be doing on this earth. And creating and being a creative person, acting, performing, singing, it's my language. So I knew that I was in the right place. So I had no doubt that was what I was going to be doing. So
And so, I mean, I met you at Black Girls Rock.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a lineup. You were getting an award. Janet Jackson, you sang.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah gave me mine.
Yeah.
I mean, just to think that you've just worked with incredible people your whole journey. And I mean, to me, Cynthia, and I'm sure everyone feels the same way, you're just beginning.
Yeah. I feel like I'm just beginning. I feel like I'm just beginning. I really do. And I feel like I've been given such a wonderful opportunity to meet and learn from people who I never dreamt I would ever meet or know, you know, to be like just that lineup, to be able to do Black Girls Rock, to sing Aretha Franklin's song with Lettucey, with Stephanie Mills, with Fantasia. Like it just, those are people.
I forgot about Stephanie Mills.
I mean,
listen to her back in the day. Oh
right.
my God, that was the favorite love. You want to put on a love tune? It was Stephanie Mills.
That's what you go to, and like it, just to be able to have these experiences where I'm consistently learning only helps me be better at what I do and be a better person. To be honest, yeah.
I mean, when you won your Tony, when you won your Grammy, what are those moments? What did they feel like?
The Tony felt like, it sounds so cheesy, but it really was like a dream come true, because, you know, it's very rare for English girls to be able to come to Broadway and then also win a Tony. Like, it just was, I didn't know that was possible. And then it happened. And I got to bring my mother with me. My mom was in the audience, and I dedicated, the first thing I said was, look, mommy, you know, just because I felt like it was the first time I could say, hey, I'm going to be fine. Like, your little girl is going to be perfectly fine. And we're okay.
Oh, your little girl. I believe in that.
Yeah.
I believe in that. It's important.
It really is, to share those moments, to get the Grammy for this, and it was for the album of The Color Purple. I know how much hard work went into that particular piece of work, and to be able to also celebrate it that way was really rewarding. Yeah, I feel like
when I look at you, your work ethic, to me, that I get from you, and not just because I call you a friend, but I really, if I didn't know you, I'd still get that same work ethic. It's blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
You grind and work so hard.
Yeah.
And that's what I really have so much respect for you for.
Thank you. Well, you know, it takes one to know one. Listen, you have worked tirelessly, consistently, and it's really, I mean, it's an honor to be able to sit and chat with you today. Like, to be able to do this is really special.
Well, thank you. I mean, right now, so Nigerian parents went to the Royal Academy of Arts.
Yeah.
First Color Purple, Tony, and Grammy.
Yeah.
And I mean, now you go into, then you did, well, there's a big jump, obviously there's more in between, but then the beloved Steve McQueen, who I adore and you love, and I love too, and God, I'm so grateful for what he's doing for the English television right now, and film world in England, because it's absolutely true. We need more diversity there.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
I'm going to get to that question with you. I've got that down. First of all, what was it like doing Widows?
You know what? I had the best time ever. I felt like a kid. It was because he's so with me, like, he was so sweet, so gentle, so happy to be making this film. So happy to have the people he had on set, so understanding when something wasn't quite working. He gave us the space, gave us the room to learn, gave us the room to work things out. And he really, I felt like he was really protective of me and the character. And I was just happy to be there. Like, I was on set with Viola Davis, and it was Steve McQueen, it's Michelle Rodriguez, it's, you know, Colin Farrell. Like, these are,
wow, that's a team right there.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm new at this, and I'm on set, and I feel like I had just as much respect as everybody else. I never felt like I was less than anyone else, and it just was one of the most amazing experiences. For that to be my very first film experience, I feel like I was spoiled, to be honest. I feel like, because there's no one like Steve, and he just sort of set the bar really, really high.
He's like a coach at the same time, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I've gotten to work with Steve once. He was doing something called Code of Conduct, and he wanted to know my story, and Laura Harriet was, I think it was inspired by. So, but it was just really fascinating to see the way he works. And just on that level of just being with him with the writers, I was just like, I understand why he is Steve McQueen.
Yes. And he's so as well.
So, how did you prepare for that role? Because that role, it seems to be that every role you take is quite physical.
Yeah. I was working out every day. for that. I was doing a lot of body weight work. I had my trainer FaceTime in with me whilst we were shooting in Chicago, and I couldn't get to him. So we would FaceTime in the morning, and I would work out, and my diet was really specific, very strict, so I could move and work the way I needed to. It was tough, but I loved it. It's sort of I love being able to be as physical as I can in roles. Yeah.
Now, you just said that you're disciplined.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes.
Yeah.
But Cynthia, your body is, I work out, but your body is just, there's not a pinch of fat on your body.
But I try. Yeah. Because also I enjoy it. If I didn't enjoy it, I probably wouldn't be doing it as often. I probably wouldn't do it as much. But I love it. It makes me feel good. And and I feel healthy for it. So
Right.
yeah.
And I mean, have you spoiled yourself during COVID a little?
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know why? Because towards the end of last year, it's award season and we were running around everywhere and I was still working. So I was going from LA to New York, back to Atlanta where I was shooting, back to LA. So I was doing all of this flying around and moving around and I didn't really have a break. So I've been taking the time now to just relax,
Relax.
let it go. And I'm
But
going a lot.
somehow I don't think you say you're relaxing. You're relaxing Cynthia Erivo's way.
Yes.
I don't think you really just do nothing.
No, I know.
Whether it's training your instrument, your voice, or something, or just like exercising your voice, as you're saying,
Yeah.
your voice is trained.
Yeah.
But I mean, what was it like? I mean, you went, as you said, you had Oscar season,
Yes.
award season.
Yeah.
That was the last Oscars we've had.
Yeah.
2020. We just made it.
We just made it.
And noticeably, because it was said, so I have to bring it up, you were the only woman actress of diversity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it seemed to be that way throughout, through Golden Globes, through SAG, through the Academy Awards. How did you feel about that? And
it was bittersweet because it's never as enjoyable as it needs to be if you're the only one. I've never, like, even in my team, that it's their family. So I have Black women, Black men that surround me everywhere, And so when you can't look across the aisle or you can't look to your right or left and see other people who look like you, other women who look like you, other men who look like you in the same art, yes, there's a great responsibility to carry the flag, but it's also, why can't I share that with my sisters and brothers? Why can't I do that? You sort of feel like the only child, and I know that's not true. I'm not the only one doing this work, doing brilliant work, who deserves to be celebrated. So all it made me want to do is make sure that we keep creating spaces for other people and for other men and women who look and sound like me and work just as hard. That's all I wanted to do. It made me determined to make sure that never happened.
driven.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I understand it, and I identify with what you're saying. Can you tell me about the BAFTAs?
Yeah.
I heard you asked to perform.
Oh, yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about that and why you made the decision you made and chose to do what you felt like you needed to do?
They asked me to perform, and I felt like it was totally inappropriate because of the way they had nominated across the board. There were no people of color anywhere, no Black, brown, anywhere in the acting categories at all, if any categories, in the directing categories, in any of them. And then to be asked to perform retroactively as a result of the fact that people were not happy with that, felt like they were using me as an entertainment,
like a scapegoat to
yeah,
or like this. Okay, if we put you up, the token, put you up.
That's I felt like I was token for them to then ask me. Also, it felt like they had disregarded the work that had actually been done. It felt like they had used me as a token to right a wrong that they needed to right properly. And I didn't feel like me performing would be helpful to the cause that we have. I didn't think that it would move us forward. I didn't think it was a great example for us. I didn't think that I don't think that is the way I want to use my voice, because it
or your image.
Right. I didn't feel right about that. It didn't feel right. And what it did is reduce diversity that we're asking for and inclusion to performing. You come and perform for us. That's how we include you. And I didn't think that was okay. So I was like,
I stand with you on that one. Yeah. So where were you when you found out you were nominated for the Oscar?
I was on a plane to Japan because I had
Japan, I love it there.
yeah, it's one of my favorite places in the world. I was going to do a concert, and I didn't have Wi-Fi on the plane, or so I thought. And I took a nap, and I was sleeping. I woke up, and this would have been the time when the nominations had come out. And in front of me, there was this voucher for Wi-Fi on the flight. So I was like, okay, well, I'll try. Might as well find out. My phone, and for a second, nothing. Then all of a sudden, a barrage of messages comes through, and I think, okay, we've nominated once. Then it comes through again. Someone says I'm nominated twice, 2 nominations, and I was on a plane, so I couldn't tell anyone. So I think I spoke to the air hostesses, who were so kind, so sweet. They gave me a little fruit plate to celebrate, a little card. Congratulations. It was so kind of them. And I told one air hostess, who then told all of the air hostesses on the flight, who kept coming up and saying congratulations. And then when I got off the flight, I told my mother and my sister, who were really, really overjoyed. I told my cousin, who was in total disbelief, but in absolute elation once I got off the plane. It was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah.
We were just all I think everyone I know put that up on their social media. Everyone I know just was like, Cynthia. So what are you working on now? Because we have another mutual friend. We have many.
Yeah.
But I know that you're friends and also working with Brian Grazer.
Yeah.
Who I'm also about to work with.
Yeah.
And can you tell us about what you're doing with Brian Grazer?
Yeah. We're doing, it's called the Genius series, and the genius that we're working with is Aretha Franklin. So I'm playing Aretha Franklin in this series, which is just amazing, and really, really honored to be playing someone who is my hero. I love her voice. I love the way she's able to tell these stories with the way she sings and the words she uses. So I'm doing that, and we have gotten to episode 6, and when we have to shut down, so I'll be going back to finish that after this.
And that's in Atlanta.
That's in Atlanta, and they just announced yesterday the film I'm going to be doing called Talent Show yesterday, and that's with Universal.
Congratulations!
Yeah. Thank you. I'm working on my album, which hopefully should be out. I want to say end of year, maybe top of next year.
Booked and busy, Cynthia.
Yeah.
I love it.
A couple of other things to work.
Energy. It's so. I'm thrilled for you, truly.
Thank you.
So, Aretha Franklin, may I ask you?
Yeah.
What is it like? Because it's not the first time you sang a song of Aretha's.
No.
What is it like to sing a song of the Queen of Soul and to be playing the Queen of Soul? What does it take to prepare to do such a role?
It takes practice and research. Her music is really special. She has a particular way that she uses her voice. People tend to think that she uses all the power all at once, but actually she's got such it's her tone that makes it feel bigger than it is. She's got this really wonderful way of being tender when she needs to be tender, and small when she needs to be small, and she makes it grow, and it's amazing. I love singing her work because it always challenges me, and it always makes me a better singer. It makes me learn how to use my voice in a better way. And I've just had the most amazing time learning her. Takes time, takes research, takes patience, but I'm enjoying her. Yeah.
Have you seen, there's a clip of Aretha Franklin with Pavarotti. No, sorry, Pavarotti's, I think I passed away.
Yes.
So I had the pleasure of working with him once too, an amazing man. But she comes on and she sings it in it. Isn't it incredible, Cynthia?
It's unbelievable. And she found out that day that she was supposed to do that. She found out that day. In the interval, I think they came to her to ask if she would sing Nessun Dorma because Pavarotti was not well. He couldn't do it. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
So they asked her to come and sing it. This was I think it was the Grammys, 1998. I want to say, I might be wrong, but it was 1990. Yeah. And they asked her if she could come on and sing Nessun Dorma. Yeah. Strange story. I was doing a concert at the Kennedy Center Honors, and I think she also was supposed to be there to sing it, and she wasn't able to because she wasn't well. So they asked me to sing Nessa Dorma.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you've sung it in Italian.
Sang it in Italian, yeah.
Perhaps that's a special, that's a destiny type of story right there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So going back to, I want to go to speak about Harriet Tubman, because
Yeah.
I mean, with all that we're going through right now,
Yeah.
she seems to have come up a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like living in America, I don't know if you feel this way, that people really want to know about their history more than ever now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like you were ahead of the curve in that sense with doing her life story, because I heard her name, but I didn't know her story till I got to really watch your movie.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you prepared for this movie role? And I mean, this was your Oscar nomination also.
Yeah, it was. I worked, Casey Lemons, my director, is amazing. She's a genius. So
I know her.
She's
Why do
amazing.
I know her?
If you ever watch Eve's Bayou, that's her movie. Yeah. Eve's Bayou with him. She's
Was
amazing.
she an actress before?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
I think I used to do the Cosby Show with her.
She.
So now she's a big director?
She's been directing for a while now, and she's amazing. She's wonderful.
Please send her my love if you ever see her.
I will.
Please go ahead. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
She's like, I love her. She's like the big sister auntie that everyone should wish to have. She's amazing. And she did all of the research she could possibly do, and then we sat together and learned together. So she was really wonderful, making sure that I knew all the details that I needed to know. We learned very much about Harriet the person, because we knew that she was a hero. It's sort of like broad strokes usually when you learn about her. The work that she did, she saved the lives of many Black men and women, brought them to freedom. But you don't learn about her, the human being, which I think is really important, because when you learn about who she actually was, the person, the work that she did becomes even more incredible. This was a woman who suffered, some people think it's narcolepsy, some people think it was epilepsy. She would pass out and have fits. This happened when she was, I think it started when she was about 10, very young. She was hit in the head with a weight, and a white man threw a weight at her, and she was young and passed out. And that was the effect of that.
That developed from there.
Yeah. But with that, what she says is that it opened up the pathway for her to have communication with God. So she says that she would have messages from God as to how to move forward, what to do. So while she was doing her work, saving people, she would get messages from God as to what to do next. Like, where would she go? Like, there's a moment in the film where God speaks to her and tells her to go left. That's written in research that's actually what happened. Like, something that I think she spoke, because she couldn't write, she spoke her words and someone had written it down for her, and that's what her experience was. She just was one of the most incredible people. She was strong, very small. So I'm 5'1", she was 5 foot. A strong, fast woman who knew about how to she was able to find her way through America using the stars, using the way the wind blew, using everything that the earth could give her, and that's how she was working out. She could read maps. People don't realize how skilled this person was, and this kept going throughout her life. This woman died at 91 years old, and what we know of her story is that after she saved people, it's like people don't realize that she continued working. So she worked for women's suffrage. She worked for she was a union spy. She opened up a home for people who were displaced and made.
Was she ever a slave herself?
She was. The first trip she made was to save herself. She ran herself. She saved herself, made herself free, came back to the same place to save her family. Wow. Yeah. Then, 13 trips later.
It's just incredible to now, I'm sure many people have watched this again and if you haven't watched Harriet, please everyone watch it, because it is truly not only a Cynthia, you live, breathe, and it's like the essence is there, and that's so important, and it is.
Yeah.
but what you learn in the history of it. And I mean, she lived a long life.
She really did. Long and all consistently in service of others, which I don't think people realize. It was the last thing she said was, "I go to prepare a place for you."
Now, there was a lot of people that wanted this role.
Yeah.
There was a little controversy about that,
Mm-hmm.
and about a British woman playing this role. How did you deal with that? And
because I understand that this woman is a sensitive subject. People treasure her, and what I do understand is people just want her to be done justice. People want this person, whoever does play her, to do her as much justice as possible, and I understand the worry that comes with it. And so I, more than anything, put that up to people being in love with this woman and wanting to make sure that her story was told in the right way. And also understanding that we don't get the chance to play these kinds of roles very often. We don't have enough of that. But we have all of the stories. We have so many incredible historians and stories that come from our past that we don't get to tell. And what that said to me is that, one, I needed to do this role justice and do it as truthfully as I possibly could. Two, we need to make space for the roles that have not been played, and hopefully people understand that this should not be the last time we see this woman on screen. So I hope that there will be more stories about Harriet.
Well, you definitely did it justice, and I think anyone that could ever doubt were definitely wrong. I mean, there's another lady that I don't know if you heard about, Olive Morris. Have you heard about her?
No.
In England? I'm going to send you something on her. You need to check her out.
Okay.
And she was in England, and similar, not so much in the slavery sense, but similar in work and becoming an activist and working to help the people and the culture. Yeah. I mean, talking about this.
Wait, is Olive Morris, because there was a woman who was an activist and she died when she was 27.
I think she died young.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send you a little thing on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, with all that's happening now.
Yeah.
Where do we start? I mean, let's start in your world, in your acting, in your theater, in your musicals, in your music, in your acting in motion pictures.
Yeah.
How do you deal when you're on sets in all these surroundings and not seeing enough diversity? How do you deal with that? How do you feel?
I'm the person that speaks up consistently. I'm the person that has the conversation with people at the top to say, look, there's not enough here. And because I don't think that I'm doing anyone justice if I don't speak up. I can't pretend to not see something. I make sure that there's a reason that I have a Black team, because I want us to be in these spaces together. And sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes there are preconceived notions about the person I am and who I am because of my color. And when I see those things, I am not afraid to have the conversation about what that means and why that's happening and why that shouldn't occur and why it should change. I think that the more we have the conversations, the better these things will get. But if we stand by idly and be silent about it, I don't think it can change. And I'm not prepared to let it not change. I can't. I'm not very good at that. I'm Capricorn. We're stubborn.
And has anyone ever said that you're difficult because you've spoken up?
Oh, yeah.
And not wanting to hold back and say what you felt that you needed to say?
Absolutely.
And
I've been difficult.
And how did you feel about that?
I think, again, preconceived notions. And I think that if me speaking up about my experience means that I'm difficult, then I'm going to keep speaking up. I'm okay with being that, because that doesn't, me being silent to make it easier for someone doesn't change anything. And I don't think it's a difficult thing for me to say, hey, this feels derogatory. This doesn't serve me well as a woman of color, woman. I don't, and how are you to know if I don't express it to you? You can't possibly know unless I have a conversation with you. And so that's what I do. And often those who do refer to me as difficult or a diva are probably just slightly frightened.
Listen, I've had it. I mean, I too have spoken up
Yeah.
and will always speak up. And I didn't really have time to, like, in that sense of, to really take in that I'm being difficult, because it was, I mean, it's my truth.
Yeah.
It's what I was feeling. It's my experience. And you
Yeah.
cannot take my experience away from me.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right.
So right now, we live in America.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a racial tension.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you feel? I mean, with all that's happened with George Floyd, may he rest in peace, with Ahmad, with Brianna, I mean, it's actually, and countless others.
Yeah.
And basically, truly, if the camera didn't expose it, we'd never know about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you feel living here and with all the great, protests that have happened, of the people turning out, Black Lives Matters? How do you feel about being right now in this point in your life? Because I feel you are such a role model.
Thank you.
To so many people, and so important. People want to know what you say and what you feel.
I feel very privileged to be here in this moment, because I think that for the first time in a really long time, the conversation is wider than it has been. I think that people have sort of minimized the problem and minimized what actually needs to be done. And so we're not actually trying to get to the root of the problem, and people are getting away with things that are harming Black people, that's harming us. And for the first time, I think people have to have the conversation. No one can escape without having the conversation about what is actually going on and how people are being hurt and killed and maimed for simply being Black. And I'm so glad that I'm alive to see the day when we finally start having real conversation and we start discussing across the board what we can do to change it, whether it be in industry or whether it be on the streets, whether it be people trying to figure out how to work on police reform, whether it be people working in entertainment, whether it be people working with the essential workers and nurses. Like, now people are starting to spread their view wider than it has been before. And I think it's really special. It's really important.
It's a very, what's that saying? I'm sure I'm going to get it wrong. We got some, besides the pandemic in the world, which is something else, on top of it, but we have to go through this. I feel worldwide. Yeah. It's worldwide. Yeah. It's time.
It's like the perfect combination of things happening at the same time, because we had a pandemic. It meant that everyone was sat still. It meant that everyone was in one place. And then when that awful thing happened, it was Ahmad, then it was Brianna, then it was George, and that George was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And we couldn't pretend it wasn't happening, because it was happening whilst we were sat still looking at it. So we had to do something. Something had to change. It was bound to happen. Yeah.
No, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I remember saying last year, I felt that there was going to be some type of racial, I didn't say protest. I think I might have said racial riot, because something happened last year where I was just like, no, this is going to go off. Right. This is about to kick off.
Yeah.
But I feel like even for us in London, Cynthia, I saw that Edward Enninful went to go to work the other day. Did you hear about that?
I saw that, yeah.
And I was just like, that is so hurtful, humiliating,
terrible,
and shocking, but yet not surprised.
No.
Because I know, and I've always heard from many friends, uncles, cousins, that they would get stopped just for racial profiling.
Just because. I mean, I've been followed around a store. I've been followed around a store before. Do you know? And so people don't realize, like,
so have I. When I was 17, so was I. Yeah.
I get followed around a store, and because I'm small, often people assume I'm a teenager or a kid. until they actually take, they go, it's a black teenage girl, follow her around the store. That's what happens. I honestly, when I buy something, and if I'm going to buy something and I haven't gone to the counter yet, I hold it up hold it up so it's visibly clear, so that no one can accuse me of like keeping it or stealing it. That's how that's my brain.
That's how you have to think. You have to think that way, just to that you. Yeah. But it's crazy that we have to think that way.
It's ridiculous. We shouldn't ever have to feel like that.
I had something happen last year where I was going to this event. I was invited. I had my invitation. Yeah. And they just would not let me in. No. Nope. And it was clearly a racial. It was clearly about the color of my skin, and I guess being who I was for no reason. This person's now since gone from there. Right. And I've had many apologies, but I couldn't believe it. And my girlfriend actually videoed it all. She videoed everyone that was going in. They would say it was full, but then it was still letting only white people. And I was always brought up to love every domination, every creed, every color. Yeah. And, but I won't stand for being singled out, being pointed at. I never liked being the token. Many people, many other models would say I did, but they have no idea that I did.
No, because you never do. No one ever enjoys doing that. No one ever enjoys being the only one, because it's not a pleasant experience to be the only one, because you end up feeling isolated. That's just how it feels.
Isolated. Thank you. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. You feel positive about the future? I feel like we can get through this.
I think we can get through this, and I think we'll get through this better than we've been. I think it's really important for us to experience it. I think it's important for us to work through it. I think it's important for us to come out on the other side having learned a different way of being and living. And I think we'll get through it. I'm really positive about it.
May I ask you?
Yes.
Now when you're going to choose your new roles, it's going to come up. Yeah. Say, now you're going to do this one for Universal. Yeah. But now when people are you going to start looking for roles? Well, you already have. You've already done it. Mm-hmm. You seem to take roles that educate us. Yes. Historically. Are you going to continue taking that path of wonderful?
Yeah. Really? Every script, every role I take, I consider very carefully about whether it's a woman that we've seen before, whether it's a woman that we haven't, whether we know this woman, whether we don't, whether people have preconceived notions about this woman or whether they don't. And I choose the stories, because what I never want to do is give you something that doesn't teach you about a new person that we haven't met before. Like I always think of these roles as human beings that we haven't met before. So I want to introduce you to this is a woman that you might not have met before, and you might think she's like that, but actually she's like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a dream that I would love to see you play. I don't know who the person is, but I really, how much I love the continent of Africa. Yeah. I hope that one of your projects is going to be someone there that is an activist or some person or woman of major influence that we don't really know about in the world that you can teach us about.
Yeah. You know who I really would love to learn about? Have you ever heard of Miriam Makeba?
I met her. I got to meet her many times. She was incredible. Visually, and this incredible magic aura. But then just the sweet and the voice. I got to meet her with Madiba many times in South Africa.
I would love to play her.
That's an incredible role. Go for it.
I would love to play her.
And the last thing I want to speak to you about is how are you staying fit? Because we know that body is important to you and it's important to us. Yeah. How are you doing it during quarantine? Are you cooking for yourself?
I have a Peloton here, which I get on myself. So that's easy to use, the Peloton.
Is it good?
That's great. It's great.
But I got my Joe. I can't get my Joe go. I love my Joe. But I heard everybody.
You can work both. Like there are days where you want to do full body, and there's days where you just want to get on the Peloton. And the Peloton is such a good workout because it's quick. You get like 20 minutes done, and it feels like you've been on it for an hour. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Jump rope. I have a skipping rope, which I use, and it counts the revolutions that I do. Just stretching, trying to, some days I just feel like taking a long walk, so I'll take a walk. I run. I can't run as much now, but I try and keep up my cardio because of the Peloton, and trying to eat well, making sure that I'm not snacking the entire time, and having enough water.
I was terrible in LA. I went to the English shop. Well, I didn't go. I went online. I went online to the English shop and I bought every Turkish delight, Twix, Mars Bar, Bounty, Flakes, Ripples, Galaxy, bought them all.
I've had 3 of them for the longest time.
Walkers, crisps, everything.
Oh my God.
And that was my little treat at night. My little treat was like a movie or a TV show.
That's so good.
And that was my little treat.
Yeah.
And biddies, I still got my little, I'm just trying to be disciplined again.
Yeah.
Thinking, going back into work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo.
Yes, Miss Naomi.
Anything you would like to say you inspire so many, anything you would like to say to the young boy or girl who dreams to have and to be in your shoes and to be like you, or to be on theater, to be on the stage, to be in movies, to be a Grammy singing artist.
Yeah.
What can you give to these young people out there?
That no dream is too big. Dream as big as you want. Dream about all the details that you want in that dream, and keep going for it. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not possible, because believe me, use me as an example, everything is possible. Everything.
God bless you. It is such a pleasure. I could talk to you for hours. Your energy is incredible, and it's just like you've just given me energy, and I just love your story. I think you have to write a book one day, Cynthia.
I might.
It's incredible.
I might. Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
That little girl somewhere.
Yeah. Who just needs encouragement. Yeah. Yeah.
Work ethic, drive, discipline, and look.
Thank you.
Really proud of you, sister. Really proud of you. I'm so grateful that you could do No Filter. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Have a blessed day. And I'm there for you for Quibi. We've got to talk about Quibi.
Yeah.
You want to mention Quibi quickly?
Yeah, sure. So I'm doing this series with Quibi. It's called What We Keep. And essentially it's like looking at the special trinkets or jewelry or whatever it might be that you keep that feels treasured to you, and exploring the stories of those pieces. Yeah.
Well, I'm there when you're ready. I'm ready.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. Love you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye, my darling.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you all for watching No Filter, episode 20. Cynthia Erivo. Extraordinary. Thank you all. Please stay safe. God bless. Have a good day.